Greetings, everyone. My name is Jonathan Bailey, and I'm from the website Plagiarism Today, which can be found at plagiarismtoday.com. Happy Tuesday, August 14th, everyone. With the whole thing going on with Google and the pirate penalty, as it's being called, I didn't get a chance to talk about Fareed Zakaria. And by the way, it took me a long time to practice how to say that name because I am terrible at pronouncing names, so I'm sorry if I'm still butchering it. I don't actually watch the guy's work, to be honest. But this guy's a very interesting plagiarism case, and it came out right around the same time as the Google pirate penalty was announced, so I had to choose my priorities. But basically, Zakaria is I guess he still technically is the editor-at-large for Time magazine and a correspondent / host on CNN, both of which, by the way, are owned by Time Warner. That becomes important a little bit later. Well, anyways, apparently an article he posted or used in Time magazine, an article about gun control specifically, had sort of poor paraphrasing and uncited material from an earlier article from the New Yorker. And he apparently also posted a shorter version of that article on CNN.com, which included much of the alleged plagiarized material. And Zakaria has actually admitted to the plagiarism. He's apologized for it. And CNN and Time, both, like I said, both owned by the same company, have suspended him pending an investigation. I'd heard at one point there was a 1-month suspension, but now I'm hearing it's more of a vague, we're suspending him until the investigation's concluded thing. And a lot of people are, asking, obviously, what I think about it and what I believe. And the answer on this one is, because there's an allegation going around, basically, that he got kind of a slap on the wrist. He's being let off easy. And I don't really know if that's true, because the problem here is when an organization says something like, we're going to suspend him pending an investigation, that means one of two things. That either means, A, we are suspending him and taking him out of pocket for a while, so we can go through his work with a fine-tooth comb and make sure this is the only issue we have. That's A. Or the other thing it might mean is that we're going to take him out of pocket until people forget, then quietly reinsert him into the game, because he's too valuable of an asset to simply lose and let someone else pick up. Well, I don't know which CNN and Time Warner means by this. And if there's one thing we've learned from the Jonah Lehrer case, is that media organizations lately have been incredibly bad about seriously and in detail investigating their own reporters after they learn of some kind of ethical impropriety. So long story short, we don't really have an idea as to how deep this rabbit hole goes. There's already allegations dealing with a couple of his books. Apparently there was an uncited quote in like the first and second edition, but went back and added a footnote in the third or something like that. I've got to look into that a little bit more. I just read that one a little while before coming on camera. But the end game here is it's going to depend upon what Time Warner decides to do with this. If they seriously investigate this, if they look through everything, and this is all they truly find, then yeah, I'm probably going to have to begrudgingly admit his career, especially one that's been going on this long, it doesn't have to end. It shouldn't end. But I think the reason plagiarism allegations exist, and sustain themselves for so long, is because most people realize and recognize that for every instance of plagiarism you catch, usually there are others in the history that weren't caught, and it's usually not just a one-time offense. It can be. There are times it is, but that's rare. It's very, very rare for it to be just a one-time incident. And I think already, because this first allegation was actually discovered by a political opponent, a guy that says he works to expose liberal bias in the media, and he was researching the work, and that was how he found out about the plagiarism. So he's obviously got political enemies out there, and I strongly suspect there's blood in the water, and if CNN / Time Warner and Time Magazine doesn't seriously investigate this, there's going to be other parties doing a much more thorough investigation, and we're going to find out more sooner rather than later. All in all, though, if this is it, I agree his career shouldn't end. He needs to be suspended. He needs to be reprimanded. He needs, a little bit more than a slap on the wrist, but his career shouldn't end. That being said, it doesn't really matter what I believe. Zakaria has been branded a plagiarist, and he is going to be one the rest of his life, because like I said earlier, these allegations, once proved especially, stick around. They don't leave you alone. So he's going to have to deal with that no matter what. But hopefully that's all there is to it, and maybe he can walk away, but I'm very doubtful about that, just knowing the history here. And I'm also very doubtful that Time Warner is conducting a serious, thorough investigation into his work. And I have a feeling that the next batch of allegations we find out about are going to come from other members of the media who, like I said, sense blood and water. Kind of like Jonah Lehrer. Exactly what happened there, just with a more serious allegation in the beginning. Well, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys tomorrow with yet more copyright and plagiarism news.